The most common misconception I came across was the one shoe fit all type of approach, because changing one little habit can play a big role in what you see in your blood sugar numbers. I always try to mention to my clients is a little is a lot.
Do you do you subscribe to? And by the way, I didn't think of it that way. As you said, you're something that's a little bit sweet and sour is low glycemic. So that's a key takeaway that folks can use as evaluating something from a glycemic index perspective to say, hey man, if I'm gonna eat, oh God, I hate grapefruit. I hate grapefruit so
Mm,
badly. But I know that maybe a grapefruit is the right choice, or fruits within that sort of family, sort of that taste profile that is sweet and sourish, or in that manner. So I think
mm.
that's a great recommendation. Do you subscribe for yourself personally, or even your clients? Are you a fan? And again, there's different schools of thought. But personally, are you a fan of going longer during after you wake up before you take your first meal, or are you of the thought that hey, you wake up, there's a natural hunger to within your system, so go ahead and have the right breakfast, whatever, it doesn't matter the time. Is it 30 minutes? For some people it might be an hour after you wake up. Where do you fall in that spectrum?
For me, I prefer later in the
Okay.
mornings. So 10 o'clock is my sweet spot.
uh
That if I go a little longer after that, that's when I start to get a little hungry, and you don't want to get to the point where you're hungry because
yeah.
you start making bad decisions. So I try to stick around at 10 o'clock for my clients. It
Hmm.
just depends on their goals.
Fair enough.
For those who want to lose a little weight, I would say, push it, to 12 o'clock, do like an intermittent fast just to, slow get into your eat, you're breaking the fast.
Mm, got it. Yeah, I've tried multiple strategies, and some of them have worked better, some have not. But I do feel that the longer I can stay off eating, the better I feel, for the rest of the day too. And that, as you said, the intermittent fasting has seemed to work. But again, everybody is different. Everybody's
Oh
body
yeah.
reacts differently, and their needs are different, right? It's from a excuse me, energy consumption perspective as well. Do you recommend to your clients, or from your experience, do you usually recommend that uh, people get some movement going first thing in the morning, or as soon as they wake up, like work, go for either a cardio or a weight training or any sort of workout in the morning? Is that a preferred time according to you, or is it, again, I know a little is a lot, as you said, but if you were to say ideally this time of the day is perfect for working out, what does that time look like?
Ideally for me, I will work out almost like right in the middle of the day,
Got it.
but I do recommend some form of activity, like if you can pair it with your eating schedule. So your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and it can be something as little as a 10-minute walk.
Mm,
You When you do it that way, you're training your body to use this glucose towards energy,
mm.
and just over time it just helps your body to respond better to insulin. So
Got it.
for me, I like to do the middle of the morning, afternoon type of workouts. Usually I have pretty good energy around that time, but if you got to do morning time, that's still a good time as well, because a low impact exercise or routine in the morning can help. curb that morning cortisol that we
Mm,
usually get.
mm.
Some of this cortisol, we need to, walk it off, and that can really be a good start for your day.
Yeah, and if I, from what I have noticed, or from what I've read in research and scientific papers as well, is the impact of early morning sunlight also on your
Mm,
regulating your system, and then your sleep cycles, and getting your body to understand, all right, it's time to go. So after a certain period of the time during the over the course of the day, the body goes, all right, now it's time to unwind, because I remember that this was the time when I woke up and started moving, right? So I
yep.
think there are. It's amazing how these little habits, these little things, as you mentioned, they make a big difference. So, from if we were to recap just the morning side of it, stay hydrated, or get hydrated as soon as you wake up, I should say, to
Yeah.
help you, to reset or start that process. If you are going to eat, see how long you can wait before that meal. But if you've got to eat, go ahead and eat at the time of your choosing for
Mm,
breakfast. But make smart choices with that food. So make
yeah.
sure you have the lean protein. Make sure you have the low glycemic index fruits, if that's what you choose to consume on the
Yeah.
fruit side. Maybe add that to your meal. And from a workout perspective, if morning is the right time for you to work out, go ahead.
Mhm.
If it's not, then pick some other point during the day. So I appreciate that, sort of the walkthrough on that. Now let's move to sort of the remaining part of the day. So, man, I struggle with this. You get to work, you start working, emails are flowing back and forth, phone calls are going,
Mm,
podcasts are being recorded, you're sitting on your desk, and then rolls around 1 o'clock, you're like, man, I haven't eaten anything. Oh, this I'm tired. I don't want to go cook. I don't want to make a salad for myself. But man, that bag of chips looks really good. Or the craving for something sweet, because I've been sitting at desk and I've got an energy dip at that point. How do you advise people to say, you know what, in the middle of a day, man, just do these two or three things, the simple habits?
yeah. So it's, everything is all connected. So how you start your day, or how you slept that night, how you started your morning, like the foods that you ate, that kind of leads into like that, the lunchtime. And uh I'm guilty of it as well. Like, I sometimes I don't make the right decisions, at lunchtime. So if you can start your day well with some type of foods that's higher, in fiber, more in protein, it kind of satisfy you a little bit longer. So when
Hmm.
you do get into lunchtime, you make a better decision. So if I was to, have my lunch laid out, I would have protein. But since this is the middle of the day, this is when your body is actually kind of peaking.
Hmm.
You can consume a little bit more carbs,
Got it.
during this time of day. And when I say carbs, I mean the complex type of carbs, the carbs that have fiber in it. So, if you
Give me an
want to,
example. Give me an example of something that you would consider that.
yeah, so it can be like a banana. It can be, if you want your sweeter fruits around this time, like your mangoes, um, maybe pineapple. Now, if you're
Mm.
dealing with blood sugars that's kind of unregulated, I'll stick to the lower glycemic. But if I'm looking to just have a little bit more of an energy boost, something, I'm craving some type of sweet, this is the time where you can really do it, because it's really the peak of the day.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess you have the remainder of the day, the evening and night, for not just that food to be digested, but the glucose spike, if you were to have any, for it to obviously come down, get more
Mm,
regulated, get more normalized at that point. If somebody were to say, hey man, I block off, again, there would be a luxury, but I hope people can do that. But let's say they say, you know what, I'm gonna block off an hour for lunch. Actually, truly block off an hour for lunch, which would involve me eating, and then if I have time left to do whatever it is that I want to do, maybe read a
mm,
book, maybe catch up with friends, family, just to kind of reset my brain a little bit. How would you recommend if somebody said that, hey man, I did that for 1 hour, I've got 30 minutes left almost every single day to work out, or 25 minutes left? What sort of movement? I know you talked about moving after a meal is helpful, but any specific sort of movement that you would guide them to go, hey, as soon as you're done with lunch, think about this. If you've got 15, 20 minutes left before you need to get back to your calls or meetings, do this within that time frame. What would that this be?
It depends on the type of work they do and the setting. Some office jobs, they may have stairs where they can,
Mm,
take a flight of stairs. This will be a good time to maybe hit 8 to 10 up and down, going up and down the steps, just to kind of keep that mobility, keeping you from not stiffening up, from sitting down through work, and also just help you burn off some of this glucose that you probably intake, from the meal. So if you got steps at work, this is, that's a good activity to do. You can do the walking again,
mm,
whether it's like 10 to 15 minutes of just walking to um, help with the relieving of the stress that you
mm.
probably intake from work. It can be stretching, just getting those joints back mobile, where you're not, so tight just sitting at the desk all day. So, if you got the luxury where you can go, if your place got the gym, you can,
Mm.
hit some weight or something like that, go for it. Me personally, I recommend all forms of physical activity, whenever you can do it. But if I had like an ideal day and my setting was like in an office, I'll go with walking or maybe just the stair walks.
Yeah, and I think that as you said, it kind of depends on the work a person does. And by the way, thanks for those tips. I think the work friendly advice always helps, right? So, for example, I mean, I live in Dallas, man.
No.
It's hot during the day, right? I mean, and in Alabama too, right? I mean, it gets pretty
Mhm.
warm during the middle of the day. So a walk outside the office might not be ideal, but hey, if you're in an office building, man, just go up and down the hall, go down the stairs,
Yeah.
stretch a little bit to get yourself ready for not only for the remainder of the day, but even for the evening. Those are critical steps, which again brings me to the next segment of the day, which is sort of that evening time frame. And when people
Mhm.
come home from work and they want to unwind, it's been a long day at work, and have comfort foods, right? And
Mhm.
what 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 should they do? What do you tell them if somebody says, "Man, I come from work and I just want to, I want to grab a cold beer and I want to just, sit down and unwind, on a and again, everybody I think does that. Everybody should be allowed to do that, once in a while kind of thing, right? The moderation
Yeah.
aspect of it. But then there are some people that have relied on that as a sort of a daily habit, right? That I mean, I got
Mhm.
to get home and I got to have a beer. I got to chill and have a beer. So
Mhm.
if somebody is leaning more towards that, I need that comfort every single day sort of a mindset, what
Mhm.
how do you talk to them that is pretty straightforward advice to say what they should or should not do?
Yeah. Yeah. It really boils down to how you prepare yourself for the evening times. Evening times, if when people have like those late night
Mm,
cravings, it really is a result of how nutrient dense the dinner will
mm,
be. So, I know it's easy to want to, drink some beer, relax, eat the comfort foods. Our body wants to do that, but preparing is a response instead of type of a reaction.
mm,
So if I was to, lay out like a dinner, I would tell them start off with the protein first, just to kind of trick the body or, really slow the glucose, consumption, and then get into your other foods, whether it's carbs. Hopefully, it's like something higher fiber.
Mm.
You know, if you was to have like a meal like that, right when you get home, it may help you out with making better decisions as the night goes on. You probably won't crave the chips as much. It's gonna always be there, but you
Yeah.
you really just gotta prepare how you go about your dinner.